So good evening, my dear friends. Can you hear me? And can you see my screen on yours? Hello, friends. Good evening. Hope you can see me and hear me well. And of course, see my presentation on your screen. Please confirm. Thank you, Sai Krishna. So just one response. Okay, that communicates me that everything is set. We can go ahead. Yes. Perfect. All right. So, friends, first of all, I need to apologize. On Thursday, I actually had something of my personal commitment nature with which I could not actually turn up into your lecture. I'm sorry for that. But I don't need to postpone things. So that I decided to have it on Saturday and had a second thought whether you all have any other commitment during Saturday morning. And I come to know that, more than two-thirds of the class were reporting me that you were not available during the morning. So I thought that evening would be the best time. So I dropped an announcement on Moodle as well. So I wish that I have made my communication early enough and quite clear enough for you to get ready and join now. So how do you all feel? Can I hear how do you all feel? Thank you, Shakya. From your end, it seems that things are good for you. At least Shakya says she's doing good. Okay, that's all right. Well, let me allow everyone in the meeting can communicate with each other in chat. All right. So welcome everyone. Tonight we are going to work on how responsibly AI can be used in our research writing. I know that you all are doing it more or less, and I know that very few, but still smartest of you do not use it, or rather never think of using it because you are sure of your skill than AI can do. So today's session is all about responsible AI assisted research writing. Now, you see the very word responsible, that is to indicate, since we have a tool like AI, which is smart enough to help us, which is critical and which is actually logical enough to help us, why shouldn't we use it? So that is the typical problem. And in today's context, any academic literacy's journey without the support of AI is just a myth. So I thought of actually your previous batches also came to know about these facts. I thought of getting a chapter on how AI assisted research writing could be made aware to you all. So we will not try to cover every technical detail of AI. I'm sure that I'm not the person to do that. We have enough of people who are doing even a PhD in AI assisted or other AI related domains. So that I'm not the person to typically discuss anything about AI, but I'm sure that I'm capable enough uh, to guide you through responsible AI assisted research writing. All right. Instead of trying to look at and cover the technical details of AI, we will make a series of small decisions, little decisions at a time. So what we're going to do is each time I will give you a sentence, perhaps a situation, or an AI assisted revision. So what you have to do, you will first think it quietly, well, then make a short chat response. That is the first thing. And only when you are done with your chat responses, we will discuss. Our key question is simple today. If AI helps with the language, what must still remain the researcher's responsibility? Now, you are the writer. AI is going to help you writing smart and perhaps smarter. But even with the help of writing with AI, what must still remain the researcher's responsibility? So is the question clear? So I'm not going to deny your use of AI. I'm sure not even your supervisor is going to deny you using AI, but we all do deny your irresponsible use of AI, right? So just send me just at least a thumbs up or rather any signal to indicate me that you all are ready to go ahead and you are clear what little things we are going to do tonight. Just send me a chat or else just give me a thumbs up response so that I know that you are with me. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go ahead. So this will be tonight's rhythm, right? This is actually our pattern for the evening. First, we notice something small, as I told you. Then you make a quick decision. It may be one letter in the chat, A or B or whatever the letter. After that, one or two of you may explain your reason, right? Then we connect the case to our own research writing and I will give the takeaway. So as simple as ABC. This structure is deliberate. You know why? I know that you are after perhaps work or after studies throughout the day. So at night, a long or open question can silence the class. I know, as a matter of fact. A small decision is easier to make, and it often gives better evidence of understanding. So, please do not wait for the perfect academic answer. Now, when you respond me, do not wait for the perfect academic answer. A brief, honest response is more than enough, right? All right. So that is what we are going to do today. So to link what we are doing today, let us connect tonight to our last session. It was almost a week ago, but I'm sure that you all may remember. In session 3, many of you understood that authorial voice is not simply about saying IOV, or rather hiding it. It is about responsibility. What is? Responsibility, ownership, focus, confidence, and economy. Can you remember? That is a strong foundation for tonight. We'll be building up on that basis. When AI enters the writing process, those same questions do not disappear. They become more and more important. If AI produces a fluent sentence, the reader still needs to know whose claim it is, what evidence is supporting it, and whether the researcher can defend it whenever he is inquired. So tonight, we are actually extending VOICE framework into AI-assisted writing. Maybe you write yourself, even though you write, your authorial voice with VOICE framework should appear there. And even with AI-assisted writing, we invite you to practice VOICE, the framework that we were practicing last week, right? All right, with that, we are moving. So what is the expected outcome of the day. Here are the intended learning outcomes. Notice that none of these outcomes say write the best prompt. Did I say? No. Or it does not say use the most advanced AI tool. None of those are learning outcomes. So it is not about prompt writing or how to prompt it better. It is not about which AI tool to be used. It is about something else. What is it? The important ability is your judgment. Can you define a task? Can you notice a risk? Can you check whether the text still means what you intend? Can you explain what you accepted and what you rejected? You know, in postgraduate research at MSc, MPhil, and PhD level, that kind of accountability matters more than simply producing polished English. Now, most of you, and perhaps most of those who are coming to the field of research, think that just polished English would do. But it is not the case. So you should be able to depend, you should be able to explain, you should be able to retain certain things and reject things with the decision that you make as the author of your writing. So tonight, we will practice this slowly through little small decisions we make at a time, right? All right, I think the ground is clear for us to move. So, you know, every day's work contributes to something in your portfolio because in your portfolio, we actually judge how, as a writer, you evolve from the first day to the last day. So it's going to be a trajectory of your research writing exercise, right? So today also we have a portfolio artifact that should go into your writing portfolio. All right. I wish that the 3 portfolio entries which you submitted are there. I'll be giving response for them sooner when I'm free, right? Maybe I'll be giving all them my responses in 1 day's time. Well, the learning outcome is so this is the portfolio artifact for tonight. What is it? It is a small thing, but it is intellectually really meaningful. You will document one AI assisted writing decision. Just one AI assisted writing decision. If you use AI, you record what you ask the AI to do, what the AI has produced, and what you checked, and what you finally accepted or what you finally rejected. If you do not wish to use AI, that is very much acceptable. You can evaluate the instructor provided AI revision. So I'll be providing you AI revision. The learning outcome is not the act of using AI. Actually, it is the learning outcome is responsible evaluation and ownership of the final text. Because once you produce it, no matter whether you have produced it with the support or rather the sole authorship of AI, you have to depend it. You have to argue with your panel how you did it, where you went wrong, where you went right, and how strong you can depend your own finding. So quite simple. Tonight's portfolio artifact is one AI assisted writing decision that you document in your portfolio. You are not required to use AI. A no AI evaluation pathway is accepted, right? So that is it. And will that let us move? Now, I have posted you about 5 days ago, the pre-reading. Actually, they gave us 4 ideas. The first idea, AI can work as a partner in writing. That is something that you know more than I explained. Second, even though AI acts as a writing partner, your output still needs critical awareness, because fluency is not a proof of accuracy. I want you to highlight, underline, and register this in your brain. Fluency is not proof of accuracy. Fluency is one thing, accuracy of what you say, what you make as a claim is one thing. They are two different things. Third, responsible use actually requires transparency. You should be able to say what you used, what you asked, what you did with the output. Now, there are three things. You should be able to transparently tell what purposes did you use AI, what you asked the AI to do, and what did you receive as output, and what did you do with it. That's it. And the last point of our pre-reading is verification matters above everything, especially for claims and sources. When you make a claim, you should be able to verify on what basis, on what particular previous research that you are relying to make that particular claim. So, claims and sources are really, really important. We will not repeat the reading now of these pre-reading ideas, but we will now turn them into small decisions that we are going to make tonight. All right? I think we are now moving little by little into the little decisions we are going to make. Can I see some of your faces? I'm sure that you all are dealing with the task, not anything else. Well, all right. All right. Before we begin, let me ask from you. Now we have about 36 of you online live joining with me. When you remember AI, can you type in your chat what AI tool, or rather what large language model is becoming more reliable and on which you are relying more on? Just type your answer and quickly send it to me so that I know what AIs are you dealing with. Take 30 seconds and send me what AI you are currently using. What AI is going to be the most reliable, or rather most relying by you all? So I'm receiving answers. Just two of you responded. Well, come on. I want everyone to respond, please. All right, all right. I was just wondering why none of you do use Storm. Have you heard it? Storm, STORM. And I've seen that some of you are using Conscientious. All right. Have any of you got to know about Storm, the Stanford AI assistant for brainstorming? Hiran says yes. Hiran, can you simply tell me what is your experience with Storm, the Stanford
It
backbone?
helps to find papers, research papers relevant to area, like narrows down the topics easily.
Mhm. And Hiran, didn't
And
you
with that,
notice that? Yeah, didn't you notice that never Storm is going to create any content without the support of a source?
yes, yeah. And also
So,
the LC tools same. I use both of them.
perfect, perfect. So this is not about prescribing any, but I'm just, telling now most of the LLMs rely mostly on their training data and everyday tokens that they receive when free users of any AI gets to interact with it. So they get new learning, and those learning together with their training data, they are going to simply synthesize their things. And if you correctly prompt, it will actually look into authentic databases, and if possible, they'll access it and help get the help of those sources to synthesize. But Storm and as Hiran highlighted, Elicit both actually do this write up or brainstorming, typically relying on sources. So rather than going into the training data it receives, it's going to first look at, not actually, I'm not revealing you the back end process, but I'm just telling you all of their reading or other synthesis is going to be directly cited with the source. The source could be authentic research or else anything that is on internet, but they perfectly cite from where it took. So I think that is a good point for anyone, because research writing is all about citing from where you got it. All right. So, all right. Shaki also say, I use it to verify my facts I have found by myself. Perfect. So now you might see that Gen AI or other LLMs are used not just for writing or synthesis, not just for brainstorming. You can actually consider it as your de facto supervisor, de facto expert, your de facto reviewer, your de facto subject expert. If you train it, like you learn the subject, if you train your own AI, if it is possibly a subscribed version, if you can train it, it can assist you in much of a greater strength than you expect uh, that you are capable of doing it. So with that, I'm aware that there isn't a single gentleman here who has, or rather, there isn't a single lady or gentleman here who says no to AI, or rather, I'm not known to AI. So that everyone in the class is aware of what is AI and what it can do for you. Well, all right. With that, we are going to do a bit of a warm up. Let us begin with your experience. Please type the letters that match how you have used AI in academic or research writing. I have given A to H options, right? You can type more than one letter, it's all right. If you do not use AI, you can opt H. I'm not asking this to judge anyone. I want us to see the range of practices in the room. After you type, I'll ask one or two of you to say which use has helped you. Keep your answer short, one sentence, not a sentence actually. When I ask you to say why, then you might answer. But before that, you'll be telling me A to H for what particular options that you've been using AI. I wanted it to be a sort of a warm up so that warmly everyone is responding quickly. Perfect. I'm receiving many answers. Come on. Everyone, please respond for what you are using AI. Shakir, can you speak and tell me which particular use convinced you so much confidence on AI or yourself? Just trace me the instances where you found AI to be smarter, or else you find yourself to be smarter than AI. Just tell me your experience.
AI would be smarter when it comes to the editing grammar and summarizing. That's it, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'm just wondering who uses the least. Sadhani, you opted brainstorming and you don't use. Can you trace why aren't you going to use AI for any of the B to G options?
Yes, sir. So the reason why I do not use AI for any of the rest of the things is that I believe that AI can support, but AI still can make mistakes. And I would rather prefer relying on my own creativity and my idea generation. Whereas like finding sources and brainstorming, I can just, add some, how do I say, colored it up with the support of AI, but not completely relying on AI. And at the same time, finding sources. The reason why I use AI for finding sources to, to use my time, like to not to waste my time in finding sources here and there, like scrolling and referring to all the sites and everything. But yet, even though AI suggests me the sources, I do go and I do search, double check whether these are accurate and the sources given are available and all that. Yeah.
Thank you. And Sai Krisha, you were the first to respond, telling me B and D.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Because normally I use this AI to check whether the relevant technical words which I can make it more attractive, and also for any editing for the grammars. So, and other than that, my own ideas and how I going to present, I do not use AI. So the same thing I'm also thinking about the first speaker. So first one. So that AI can still make some mistakes. So that's what I use few activities only.
All right. Dimuthu, I want to hear from you because you are coming from business. field. You opted only D and E.
Yes, actually, I'm using the editing for the grammar because I'm doing a publications paper. So when I'm doing the publications papers, I'm normally using for the AI correct the grammars and improving the paraphrasings, and that's a main area.
Well, that was a choice by Ayesha as well. Ayesha is coming from a high voltage background. Ayesha, can you tell me why? Only for
Yes,
those,
sir.
and
So as explained by Dimuthu also. So I also use AI for my grammatically correcting for editing grammar and then the revising paragraph. So that's why I use for because of I think when we publish our papers, that's a grammatically correct is very important thing. But I not depend within the AI completely, and then I double check and then I revise it from again and then I use it. Thank you, sir.
all right, all right. Now the takeaway is this: AI can be super smart in doing all those things: brainstorming, finding wordings, summarizing, grammar editing, paragraph revising, paraphrasing, finding sources, interpreting results, and there can be, the list may go further. AI can be of use in all these domains. But keep in mind that AI's ability to predict an accurate, write a thought, like someone who followed the field like you did. You did your bachelor's. Most of you have completed it with the class, and most of you are reading for your master's, specialized in, and of course, most of you are working in the field. Now, none of the AIs happen to follow the subject in that manner. None of the AIs happen to actually have had experiences like you do right now. None of the AIs happen to read and critically understand facts in it other than recognizing patterns. So, for each of these aspects or other areas that AI can help, you can use it. But remember that the sole authority, the final decision, the authorial ownership of finally what you bring into your writing is a decision of yours, because you are the subject and knowledge expert in that particular field. I'm sure you got what I wanted to tell you. Did you? If you have got it, you can give me a thumbs up. If you didn't get it, you can give me a thumbs down. Why not? So it means AI is not a prohibited, deprived, illegal area. It's not an assistant that we all want to ban. It is a facilitator. It's a tool that you all can use, but whatever you take from it, whatever you do with it, you should be able to make your own judgment with your own field knowledge, with your own subject knowledge, and with your own creativity and critical thinking. You should be able to judge what AI produces on behalf of you, or rather as a response to your prompt. All right. With that, we are going to bridge with the framework we learned last week. What is it? Voice. Can you remember? Please read the sentence quietly. Can you read the sentence? Yes, which is given in the box. It sounds academic, isn't it? It sounds even confident. Now type only one letter. What worries you first? Is it visibility? If so, V. Is it ownership? You may type O. Is it information focus? You may type I. If it is about confidence, you may type C. And if it is a matter of economy, you type E. Now keep in mind that there is no single correct answer, right? After you respond, let us ask 3 questions. Please respond. After reading this paragraph on our voice framework, visibility, ownership, information focus, confidence and economy, which we mastered last week, on which aspect you found a worry with this sentence? In which aspect you found the worry? Is it in V, O, I, C, or E? Well, I am waiting for your responses. And in the meantime, let us ask 3 questions from this sentence. Who owns the word demonstrated? What evidence allowed significantly? Who owns what? Who owns the word demonstrated? That is my first question. What evidence allowed significantly? Who decided that the approach is highly effective? Now, imagine AI produced this sentence. The fluency of the sentence does not answer these questions for us. There is no doubt about the fluency in this particular sentence, but it does not answer any of these questions we had. That is the bridge into tonight. You see, when you use Gen AI assisted, AI assisted, LLM assisted synthesis, who is going to be responsible for those simple questions that might arise? So we'll be putting voice into an experiment with AI writing examples, and we'll try where and how can we be responsible. All right, let's move on. This is one of the most important distinctions in the session. Fluency means the language reads smoothly and sounds academic. Reliability means the statement is accurate, it is supported by evidence, it is correctly attributed, properly qualified, and defensible. Do you think this fluency and reliability can be put in an equation as the left and right of the equation? Can it be? Tell me frankly, one of you, maybe unmute yourself and tell me. Hello, my dear friends, help me. Hello. Ashan, do you think fluency and yeah, Ushani responded, we can't, yes. Why? If AI often gives us fluency quickly, it does not automatically give us reliability. Fluency is what it is smart of, but reliability is the one that you should master from your end. Now, remember the fact that you can make use of the fluency, smartness held by AI together with your what? Accuracy mastery or reliability mastery from your end, then in hand, you'll be able to make this something worth synthesizing. So Shani says, those don't have a relationship with each other, those are independent from each other. Yes. Yes. All right. So when we read AI-assisted writing, we should not stop at this sounds good. So this is where you become fascinated. When you see AI synthesizes sentences for you, you're going to be fascinated. Oh my God, this sounds good. But we should ask something else. What is the evidence? What changed? Whose claim is this? Is the confidence level justified? These are really, really important because your work depends on evidence, not merely on polished writing ability or your prose. So keep that in mind. That's why we need AI support in one hand as well as your expertise to ensure the reliability of what AI synthesizes as an output. You got the point? Well, Shakir brings an idea. Let me read it for you. In research, reliability is a driven factor, right? But fluency is about syntaxes, structures, and set of rules. So the fluency is no way in an equilibrium with reliability. So you understood it. Well, let's move on and see what other decisions we are going to make tonight. So we are going to deal with the first decision. Our first decision is about task definition. Not all AI use has the same consequence. When you ask AI to notice repetition in a paragraph, it is different from asking it to decide what your result means. Now you see, asking AI to notice repetition in a paragraph is different from what? From asking AI to decide what your results mean. These are two different questions. Asking for alternative wording is different from asking AI to write a literature review from article titles. You see, they're two different tasks. The closer the task moves towards evidence, claims, and interpretation, the heavier the researcher's responsibility becomes. Got the point? Did you get the point? The closer the task moves towards evidence, claims, and interpretation, the heavier your responsibility becomes. So, whenever you ask something from AI, make sure that you make the task moves towards evidence, claims, and interpretation. Then the reliability aspect will be in your hand and you'll be handling that aspect. We are not going to use a simple green and red list like, do this and do not do this. We will ask, what is the task? What could go wrong and what judgment remains mine? So, language support, organizational support, evidence and claims, interpretation. In each of these areas, you can get the support. But as AI moves closer to interpretation and claims, the researcher's responsibility becomes heavier. Why? AI is a machine, let me call it, which looks for patterns, and based on training data, it predicts what word should come next, which is not what you are doing. What you are doing is you have evidence, which is the flesh of your research, and you are using that in a synthesis, in a prose, to convince or rather to check a hypothesis that you set towards achieving a particular solution. So, we will ask which task, which could go wrong and which might, be useful for you to use. So in whatever decision, judgment should be a decision made by you, not by whom? AI. AI cannot make judgments on your behalf. You have to make judgments on your research behalf. AI is capable of doing things. Get the help that it is capable of doing. Well, look at this activity. Now, please go to the worksheet section. It gives you 3 options: useful, risky, and depends. You will not write long explanations at first. Just make your choices. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. And after that, we'll choose one case whether your answer is depends. And we'll complete the 2 short lines. It would be useful if, and it would become risky if. This is the key point of the activity. A task may be safe in one setting and risky in another, depending on what the researcher checks and wants. Now look at the task and see whether it is useful, risky, or depends. Fill it in your worksheet. You are given 3 minutes to fill that task. Well, let me point some of you. Once you're done, just give me a thumbs up so that I know that you are done. Then we can go to the discussion. None of you have given me any thumbs up yet, which means you must be doing it. Okay, take your time. Once you're done, let me know. not only choosing whether it depends, useful or risky, you have to take one case where your answer is depends, and you have to complete the 2 short lines, right? And you have to take useful if, risky if, you have to fill that. You know, in one setting, a task may be safer, whereas in another setting, it may be risky, right? Do you need more time? Are you done with? Friends, are you all done with the task? As you know that this contributes to your portfolio submission, make sure that you make the judgment in the worksheet and give me a thumbs up so that I can move on. So there is a take-home message. What is it? Thank you. Most of you respond with me with a thumbs up. The idea is this: a task may be safe in one setting and the same could be risky in another setting, right? It depends on what the researcher checks and owns. So my advice is each of these could be useful, but if you check, if you own and if you are capable of depending what you claim. All right, let's move on to the next slide and see. So let us do a bit of a debrief. What changed between asking AI to identify repeated ideas and asking AI to decide conclusions from results? The technology may be the same, but the consequences are different. The second task touches evidence and interpretation. It can reshape the argument. So risk does not come only from the tool. Risk also comes from the task we assign, the evidence involved, and whether we can verify the output. You see, this gives us a more careful way to think about AI use than simply calling it good or bad. You don't need to call it good or bad. It is neither good nor bad, but you must be knowing where you have to be careful, because at the end of the day, what you produce as your writing should be, owned by you, and you should be able to defend it in any forum where you are questioned. What changed between the first case and the last case? What happens if the output is wrong? Look at the question to class. What changed between the first case and the last case? Consequence, what happens if the output is wrong? So the first case is identify repeated ideas in a paragraph. The last case is use my results to decide conclusions. Can you guess what changed between the first case and the last case? Now you see, when you allow the AI to identify repeated ideas in a paragraph you wrote, all right, so you are giving AI the right to be in the shoes of a reader. But when it comes to the last case, use my results to decide conclusions. So you have not decided on conclusions, but you are asking AI to see your results and arrive at conclusions. Well, Shakya gave me one answer. Research weight of the task. Purpose is more into language, but results, conclusion have more weight. All right, all right. Now you see, the first case is you wrote something and you ask it to be in the reader's boots and give you where repeating ideas coming in. Later, you hand over your decision making to AI, right? Now, first task is simply a scrutinizing task as a reader, what it can do. The last task is a task which human mind with critical ability and critical thinking should be involved of. So in such a case, it's risky for the Gen AI to make decisions on behalf of you. That's why I always advise not to be fascinated by its error-free, very smooth sentence and fluency-rich styles. See whether you can depend the whole idea. Yes, what Ushani says is quite right. The first case is more safer because you have written the idea and you ask ChatGPT or rather LLM to do the reader's part. But in the last case, you researcher, based on your results, should make your own conclusions. All right, all right, all right. You understood where should the weight be given. All right, let's move on. Now we are going to have personal pause. What is it? One verb only. Now take a quiet minute. Think about the last time you used AI for academic or research writing. Reflect. If you have never used it, I think about a use you have considered. It's all right. What exactly did you hand over to the tool? I want one verb in the chat. Just one verb, not a sentence. For example, summarize, rewrite, recheck, structure, or whatever. After you type, look at the variety of verbs. These are not the same activity. Asking AI to check grammar and asking AI to interpret results places the researcher in very different positions. So you have to position yourself and the researcher. So I'm receiving your verbs. Find, check, find, explain, summarize, find, summarize, check, rewrite, all right. Check, explain, summarize, rewrite. So my question now is, what do you feel about the decision you made in the last time when you used AI for academic or research writing? What do you feel about it? How do you feel about it now? Don't you feel like that you are a little bit of guilty? Friends, respond me, please. Can you guess the position that you gave AI and the position you gave for yourself as a researcher when you write your last, or rather when you last used your AI? What do you feel now? Do you still feel confident on what you did? Or do you feel really at least a little guilt for what you did? All right, Ushani. Now, Ushani, it's not only about matching the sources. Now, I told you AI is a fabricator. It's a fiction writer. It's simply probabilistically judging what should be the next word. So it goes on hallucinations. So it is very much capable of doing fictions for you, right? So even the sources it prompts could be a fiction, a fabricated source, right? Appears like very genuine. It even gives you DOIs where the document could be reached, but once you try it, you realize, oh my God, it's a fiction, it's fictitious, right? All right. So you realize that the last time you used AI for a particular purpose, and you have a bit of a guilt right now about what you did, and now you are more and much informed where and how you can use it. But we have a long way to go further. Let's move on. We are going to make a second decision. Decision one is define the context where you are going to use your AI support. So you know where it should be used. So make that first decision, right? And we are coming to the second decision. What is it? What must remain mine? So what should be yours? So we are not classifying tools, we are classifying research writing decisions. Some tasks are responsible for AI to assist with, some must remain with the researcher. Some may involve perhaps both the researcher and AI, but the researcher must make the final decision. Please do not worry if your answers differ from another student's answer. The point is to see where your responsibility lies. You see, we will classify decisions, not tools. AI can assist. In instances where you feel like AI can assist, keep in mind that it is AI support. A. Researcher should make decisions on certain places so that you refer R. And when both researcher and AI come in to contribute to that particular thing, answer B. Now keep in mind A, R, and B. A for AI, R for researcher, B for both. And we are going to make decisions. Remember that we classify decisions, not the tool, right? All right. So look at. Make rapid decisions. You can use the worksheet table. I will read each decision and you will type A, R, or B in the chat. Okay, I'm asking the first question. Correcting grammar. Can AI do? Can researcher do? Or should researcher and AI both do? All right. So most of you admit A, but some of you say B as well. Some of you, B means both, okay. Well, but none of you do say researcher. It's because more than you have exposure or training on grammar, perhaps the language model has much more greater variety. That is absolute. All right, let's go to the second. Select the research question. Who should be doing it? Now we are moving to the second question. Select the research question. Who should be doing it? All right. You all understand it's a decision that you should make. All right. I'm just wondering whether there are students who say B, both. Huh? Be careful if you rely on AI to make research questions on behalf of you. Well, okay. Third, decide why a result occurred. Who can do it? AI or researcher or both? Decide why a result occurred. I'm glad that my kids are so smart. None of you say it is the AI. It is either researcher or both. Yes. Good. Choose suggest or demonstrates. Who can choose it? Suggests or demonstrates. Who can choose that? The best answer is researcher in consultation with the evidence, right? If a particular evidence is so strong, so it is demonstrating something. If the evidence is little supporting, you can simply say suggest, right? All right. So it could be researcher or both. Yes, you can have the assistance from AI. Suggest possible references. I am coming to this question. Suggest possible references. Who should be making that judgment? Keep in mind that you should make the decision on possible references, but you can get the help of AI. How? You can actually contextualize and ask it to provide you on possible references, and you can simply go through its keyword search and abstract and see whether the references are reliable or not. But we are advising you to go for research and decision. You should go through databases, find at least the keywords and abstract, and you know how to evaluate a particular article by looking at the citation score. If a particular article is having a high citing score, that's a good sign that it's going to be relevant to you. Rather much more impactful. So those decisions are decisions that you as a researcher must make. Let us move to the last. Verify that a reference exists. Who can do it better? Gisara, why should you as a researcher verify whether the reference exists?
It's because actually AI can verify that to some extent, but with my experience that AI can make mistakes. So that's the reasons behind my answer. Most of the time AI can make mistakes.
Well, can I ask the same question from Dimuthu?
Because the AI is not provide the correct references. Because practically, I know I was at some references, but it's not provide the correct references by the AI. So I think myself as a researcher, we have to do it.
All right. So now we have made the second decision. What is it? What is the second decision? It is about what must remain mine. Well, now this is something really, really, really important. There is something called the source trap. What is it? Maybe a convincing reference can still be false. Maybe AI suggested a particular source, looks scholarly, has an author and title, may include journal details, and may even include DOI, but when you try to reach there, it might not exist there. And at the same time, there can be an article which AI suggested, which can be existing, but what you claim there in the sentence might not be supported by the evidence given in that particular source. So you have to overcome this source trap. So you can verify by searching the source, opening the original, and checking the claim and verifying it, right? The research rule is that treat AI references as leads, not evidence. They are simply the leads, not evidences. You got it? For research writing, AI suggested reference should be treated as a lead to investigate, not as an evidence. You must find the source independently, open it, and check whether it actually supports the claim. If you cannot verify it, you cannot use it as evidence. You can use, but you'll be fooled in the defense. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have made two decisions right now. What is the first thing? We define where we are going to use AI. And second, we decided where you should remain things for yourself and where you should remain things for AI. So with that, we are going to go for a simple break of 12 minutes, right? What time is it? It is 8:18 and we are returning back at 8:30. All right, take a break and stay in Zoom, but take a break and we'll be back at 8:30. Friends, I'm back, sharp on time. Are you back? If you're back, please give me a thumbs up so that we can go ahead. Hello, my dear friends. Give me a thumbs up if you're back. All right, all right, all right. I'm receiving your response. Well, this is a simple question. Let us wake up with a simple question. Now, read the box, read the sentence in the box. Would you submit this sentence? You see? At first, you see, it reads well, isn't it? It reads well. I will now reveal one problem at a time with this particular sentence, right? After each reveal, type yes or no, right? Or perhaps not yet. There are three answers possible. Yes, no, not yet. Okay? First, imagine the source has not been checked. Still comfortable, I don't know. Second, imagine AI added a number that was not in your data. Are you still comfortable? Well, imagine a limitation disappeared during the shortening. One limitation is removed because you wanted to limit the perhaps limitation. One of the limitations were removed to reduce the word count. Fourth, imagine may improve is changed to improves. The point is that sentence can become risky through small changes. So, do you? I could not give you pauses. If the source is not checked, will you still submit this? Yes or not? The proposed method demonstrates significant performance gains and offers a highly effective solution for practical deployment. Friends, are you there? You realize the source is not checked. It's quite a simple thing. Okay, let's move on. Now we are going to do a bit of a pair task. This actually is related to the coding example in the worksheet. Read the original, then read the AI assisted version. The AI version sounds more polished, but that is not enough. In pairs, answer three questions. What improved? What changed that concerns you? Would you accept, reject, or revise? You have to answer these three questions. Your concern may relate to confidence, limitations, scope, evidence, or scientific meaning. Please do not rewrite the whole paragraph yet. First, diagnose what happened. Relate this with your worksheet. You are inspecting the coding example. In pairs, you have to ask the questions. What are they? What improved? What changed that concerns you? Would you accept, reject, or revise? Now, you have the sentence in your worksheet, right? You have to answer these questions and you have to report one thing. And for which, actually, we are going to be in pairs now in breakout rooms. And your pair report should be, you give your result, this revision because this, right? All right. So we are going to be in the breakout group. Now, when you're verifying, see, it is deliberately short. Before keeping AI assisted writing, ask these questions. What are they? Does it still mean what I intended? Can I trace the evidence? Is the ownership clear? Has the confidence level changed? Have sources been independently checked? Could I depend the final wording myself? You do not need to write long answers every time, but these checks protect the intellectual responsibility of the researcher. You got? Now we are moving on to the breakout. We have 39, so how many groups can I create? 39, 19. So there will be here you go. Join your breakout. Take about 5 minutes. And do the task. This is on a coding example for inspection. Everyone meet your partner and decide. Room 1 is clear, room 2 is clear, room 3 is clear, 4 clear. Ashan, are you here? I'm inviting you to join room number 4. Harshani, Shavindi, and Vijay Sekhar, are you guys here? Harshani, Shavindi, and Vijay Sekhar, are you here? Or is it only your computer recording the thing? Anyone who missed your partner and came back, let me know which group you are in. Ushani, where were you in? Sai Krisha, where were you in?
Well, I am in the room 11, but there is no other partners.
All right, all right. Can you think of doing that on your own?
Yeah, I'm also not having a room, but I'm doing it my own.
All right, all right. Those who do not find your partner in your room, don't worry, do it by yourself.
Okay, sir.
Can I ask from those who are here in main group, do you need further time? Shalini, I wish that you return main group because you are done with, right?
Yeah, because my partner is not joined, so I'm only so I did.
Oh, all right, all right. Do it by yourself here. Do you
Okay.
need more time?
No, that's fine. No need for me.
Okay, Sai Krisha, how about you? Are you done? I'm just making a
Yes, sir.
done, right? Shall I invite the others back in main group because
Yeah.
yeah, all right. We'll get them all back. All right, my dear friends, you are back here. So now I want to hear from you all. Now, before I allow you to speak or rather send it on chat, keep in mind that I'm not looking for perfect rewriting, right? I'm actually looking for the judgments you have made as a pair, right? Well, can I see your pair sentence which say we would accept, reject, or whatever this revision because your concluding sentence, can you paste in the chat, please? You must have worked it in the worksheet. Now take it and paste on chat so that I know why you rejected and your decision judgment will be there. Once I receive them, I will read a couple of them aloud. I'm particularly interested in whether you notice the confidence shift from suggest to demonstrate, the loss of tested conditions, and the movement from laboratory evidence to practical application. Remember, this task is not to say AI is always wrong. This is to see what change and decide what a responsible researcher would keep, reject, or revise. So I'm receiving answers. Well, while others are keep their postings on, let me invite Tilanka and the pair to tell us how you felt the activity when you were discussing. You said that, yeah, Tilanka.
Yes. I mean, in the original one, it says the study has only tested one temperature and one humidity conditions. And what in AI assisted revision, it has used clearly demonstrate and used words like substantially improved. So we thought it has changed the meaning of, it has removed the limitations of the study, and the AI revised one will not give the correct impression to the reader. So that's what we identified. So we have to revise the AI assisted answer.
Well, all right. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Sandhani, you also have a reason that you indicated. Can you share it with us?
Yes, actually, the reason why we would revise it, it does not indicate the duration and the number of samples and the tests, and also like the words that has made the statement like more like overconfident. We would avoid those words in the revision of the statement.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Can I hear from Udara? What made you have this decision?
Yes, because the original study do it under specific condition for a specific number of days. So that is an important decision for the research. But in the AI-assisted revision version, it completely avoids that and provides a highly confidential answer that it's an effective solution for practical applications. But in order to say something like practical applications, you need to test it for a variety of conditions. But that has not been done in the revised version.
All right. I think you all have understood on which ground should we accept or reject or revise the AI-assisted writing. And I'm sure that, when you consult your AI to do things on behalf of you, maybe even with, data that you fed to the AI, maybe it might be creating completely a what you call blurred picture than what you want it to be, indicated there. So be careful. Things of that nature happen often. I would invite one more. Yes. Can I ask from Ayesha and the group? You work with someone else, I wish.
Yes, in here we would revise this version because it makes the finding sound stronger than the evidence. As example in here, normally when considering the practical, so it mentioned the temperature and the humidity conditions. So and then clearly demonstrate. So that's as example, and then another one is the leaves out the important limitation. So when considering the 30 days conditions of for the 30 days, it mentioned the original paragraph. In the AI assistant revision, it not mentioned. So that's the reason for revise this one.
All right, friends. Now I'm sure that you all have convinced that your assistance that you seek from AI has to be responsible, right? All right. The task is actually not to say AI is always wrong, right? We don't say AI is always wrong. The task actually is done to see what changed and decide what a responsible researcher would keep, what a responsible researcher would reject, or what a responsible researcher would revise. These decisions, keep, reject, revise, should be a decision made by you. All right. So let's move on. How this verification should be done on a roadie. It's a very short routine. Before you keeping AI assisted writing, before you decide to keep it, you have to ask simply 6 questions as you see on screen. What are they? Does it mean what I intended? Tarsha, your singing was so interesting. Maybe you are trying to put your child in bed. Certainly, lullaby. All right, it's all right. Go ahead. So the 6 questions that you should ask before you accept what AI has written for you include: you should have something in your mind and see whether it means the same that you intended to write. Second thing is, see whether you can trace the support of the evidence. Then ask whether the ownership is clear. Has the level of confidence changed, altered, or made stronger? Have sources been independently checked? Or finally, ask, could I depend the final wording myself? Because at the end of the day, your research prose should be defended by you. You do not need to write long answers every time, right? These are not set, what we call checklists, but these typical questions will guide you either to retain the AI assisted writing or to reject it and go for a better convincing one of your own, right? Simply, these checks protect the intellectual responsibility of you as a researcher. All right, with that, we are moving to try this in one of your own sentences, right? Now, I wanted you to bring one sentence you have used in any of your research writing, right? Now, we are going to check these checks. These are the checks that we are looking on. Meaning, evidence, ownership, confidence, source, and responsibility. Those are given in your worksheet, no doubt. Paste. Oh, okay. Paste or write now one sentence in the worksheet. It can be a sentence you have used or sentence you could realistically use in your research writing. If you could not find one, just write one. Do not choose confidential material. Now, when you are using this write-up, any confidential material should not be taken there. Now, choose at least 2 checks that matter most for this sentence. These checks could be either meaning, evidence, ownership, confidence, source, or responsibility. Look for 2 checks, not for all 6 checks, right? That matter most for the sentence you choose. You do not need all 6. Complete the line. What is it? Before keeping this sentence, I would verify. This is a very short task, but actually it moves the session from Gen AI discussion to your own research practice. How you are going to practice this in your own research is actually happening here. So my dear friends, take your time to do that and bring me your one or your sentence you pasted, or else you may write a sentence of your own right now in your worksheet, and I'll expect you to come back to your revised version, and once you are done with the 2 checks, most appealing 2 checks, what would you verify? Yes, you just convince yourself. Any of your random piece of sentence in any of your writing that you've done so far in your research, just come and get the help of AI to revise it and see whether 2 of these checks that matter most for you in this revision exercise. And paste if you decided to keep any sentence, you have to check and verify at least, yeah, these 6 checks, but all 6 do not work for all sentences. 1 or 2 checks may be quite sufficient. What would you verify? That is what I want you to report back. You get your original writing and you ask random AI to improve it. And then you're going to do a little check on any of these 6 checks, which is appealing, and decide whether you are going to keep this or reject it. But if you decided to keep it, before you take it for granted to place in your writing, what checks will you be verifying? That's my question. Friends, are you still continuing on the work? Okay, Gisara. What I want you to do is, take a random sentence of your own, which you have already written, or you can now write it down, and then get the help of AI to improve it or revise it or do whatever you like with it. And then, out of the 6 checks that you are here, you compare the 2 sentences, your original write-up and the AI assisted write-up. And imagine that you are going to keep that sentence. What things would you verify before you decide to keep it? Just report me back that thing. At least 2 of these checks should be part of your verification. Friends, I want you to attempt the task quick so that we can have an early leave for the day, as we are going to meet tomorrow as well. Now, those who are sitting here, keep in mind that since this is being a night session, I did not take very serious concerns. That's why I actually choose this, what we call little AI assistance, and it's, the session to convince you how reliable and, how careful should you be in using AI assistance. I took it for the night session because it's light in detail, but what we are going to do tomorrow is not going to be that light. We'll be dealing with the introduction of your research paper, introductory chapter, or perhaps we'll be looking at the research paper in the IMRAD structure, IMRAD, introduction, methodology, literature review, results and discussion section. If you just check through the schedule, which is uploaded to the Moodle, you'll realize what's our plan for tomorrow. I am not going to post anything as pre-reading, but I'll be uploading the worksheets and all that tonight. You can download them early in the morning and get ready for the morning session. That's why I keep this night session a bit lighter. All right? Well, I'll keep you time, or rather I'll give you time to go ahead with this task while we are moving through the slides. Unless we'll certainly be running out of time. All right. Would that be all right? If I run through the slides while you're doing the task, would that be all right? Just give me a response with a thumbs up at least. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So, now whenever you go into ask the help of AI to your writing, you have to be clear about these things. Now, I told you at the very beginning, transparency is the central concern in your use of AI. Now, when you use AI for writing, you should be able to respond to these questions transparently and authentically. You should be able to tell the tool you used, the task you delegated to the tool, then what you used out of the responses given by AI, and what changes or what rejections or what alterations you have done, and how you check the final output. On all these steps, you should have a transparency record, unless you'll be questioned and you'll be challenged in your Viva or elsewhere, right? It's not about citation alone. It's about being able to account for the writing process, because when you write your writing, you are the author and it's your story, right? It's your research. When you write your research, you are accountable for that, right? And if you go back to the pre-reading, which I prescribed you in a synopsis, it distinguishes acknowledge from citation. Now, citation is one thing, acknowledgement is one thing. I want you to focus on transparency as a habit. Why? You are now navigating your research, or rather your PhDs and postgraduate studies, in a different landscape than I functioned in my days, right? Now you all are assisted with this AI and all what we call generative featured LLMs, with which you can get the help. While the help is already there, refusing the help might actually disadvantage you. But whenever you are getting this help, you should be able to transparently tell us, tell your reviewer, tell your supervisor, when and where, how you responded to the input, how you did it and all that, right? So in that case, you should be able to tell which tool you use. Could you explain the task you gave it? Could you identify what you used from the output? Could you state what you changed or rejected or revised? Could you explain how you checked the output before submission? These questions actually prepare you for future supervisor, reviewer, journal, or institutional requirements. Policies may change, but the habit of transparency is forever important. Policies may change. Policies might change. Last week when I happened to ask from the quality assurance cell of University of Toronto, they said we are no longer worrying about AI-assisted driving because there is no such policy in place to evaluate it. So policies may change. Maybe sooner there will be a policy to judge on it. But habit of transparency is really, really important, because that's what makes you a professional and a person who can be counted on what you're doing, particularly your research. So this transparency record is really, really important. There will be sometimes your, what we call your annexes, right? Annexes might be required for you to reveal the transparency record of your use of AI. So keep that in mind. Well, my research in the loop boundary. Now write your personal boundary. Make it realistic. A boundary is not a slogan. Don't misunderstand. It is a decision you can actually follow. You may write that you are comfortable using AI for sentence level alternatives, but not for interpreting your results. You may write that you will use AI to suggest keywords, but verify all sources by yourself. Something like that. You may write that you will not keep wording that you cannot explain, but boundary will help you complete the portfolio artifact. So my researcher in the loop boundary is your what? Portfolio artifact from this week, or rather this session. So tell us what decision you can actually follow. You are going to set up your boundary where you're going to do, right? So your writing may include, as I told you, something like, I'm comfortable using AI for sentence level alternatives, but not for interpreting my results, or something like that. You can set your boundary and write it. And I would love if one or two of you can post it on chat so that I'll be happy reading them. Just enter it as your portfolio entry in the worksheet. And at the same time, a couple of you can actually post it on chat space as well, so that we'll be able to see how you define your boundary. Now you will realize by now that I did not want to force you to use AI or to force you to stop using AI. I just happened to set you a boundary where, how, and with what transparency record should you use generative AI. So that is the sole purpose. And here in your portfolio artifact, you will reveal what you understood out of this session. And with your understanding, you will define what is your boundary is. So when you work on the 6 steps, these 6 steps in the researcher in the loop. You know what loop? You, the AI assistants, you revising it. Yeah. So you see the 6 steps that you found. You think what? Whether you are trying to say is correctly articulated by it. And you define in which particular purpose that you should use AI. And you get the assistance. Maybe you generate something, you may be comparing something, you may clarify or rather edit, right? And then you come to re-evaluate it. When you are re-evaluating, you as the author of your research knows what you intended, what limitations are there, whether it is evidently supported. You know, you do the evaluation, and in your evaluation, you actually go on to verify whether your claims are exactly the claims that the AI supported synthesis happen to do, right? So these verifications include your claims, sources, numbers, and meaning. Particularly, the AI might be using a totally vague verb to indicate something beyond the limits that you did your research in. So be careful. And finally, once you are done with all these 5 steps, you should be able to indicate and be able to defend what you choose as your own, right? So before you think, or rather before you prompt, we invite you to think. Then clarify what you are trying to say. Define what the task that you delegate for AI. Let AI assist within that task only. Do not let AI to do hallucinations. Then evaluate what changed. Then you go on clarifying, verifying sources, claims, and numbers, and particularly the meaning. And finally, you revise it, getting the ownership of it, and you become the owner of final writing. If disclosure is required, record how AI contributed. As I indicated in the early transparency note, 6, it also had checks, several checks. The core principle is quite simple. Once the writing enters your research communication, maybe your thesis, your article, your paper, abstract, whatever, the submitted sentence becomes your responsibility. Your AI is not going to actually defend your thesis. It's you who is going to defend it. Well, so what should you be submitting to portfolio from today? It should not be a very long thing, right? Couple of pages is enough. 2 pages is enough. Include your original paragraph, right? Then the AI task and reason, and then the prompt and the relevant output. Then your researcher check the final paragraph, a short decision commentary, and your personal AI boundary. So with these items that I put as checklist, actually guides you what should you submit, right? The formative scale is actually complete or revise and submit. So I would say either complete or revise and resubmit. I could not actually go through your work because until this morning, I was working on another postgraduate program at Sabaragamu University. Their assessment time goes on. So I had to do a lot with them. That's why I could not actually look at your submissions yet. But I'm not going to delay it. I'll be starting doing it from this week onwards. I will assess whether you have shown responsible judgment. That's the only thing I would be expecting from you. Are you clear about what is the portfolio artifact for submission is? Are you clear about it? If you're clear about it, just give me a thumbs up. Well, I'm receiving about 3 thumbs up. Yes, couple of, yeah, which indicates that you are clear about it. All right. So with that, if you chose not to use AI, it's all right, totally all right. Okay. So if you are not going to use all right, AI, it's all right. Use the instructor provided original and AI assisted revision. Evaluate, revise, and explain and state your boundary. AI literacy does not require compulsory AI use. Rejecting an AI output can show strong judgment. Everyone completes the same learning outcome. Now, quite simple. You are not required to use generative AI always. If you choose not to use AI, you can use the instructor provided AI assisted revision from the worksheet. You will still evaluate the output, revise it, explain your decision, and state your personal boundary. So that is for those who are not going to use AI. Here is the exit ticket. We are going to exit little early because I'm going to meet you tomorrow morning as well. I think AI assisted, this is what you have to, 2 short response before you wind up. Before tonight, I thought AI assisted academic writing was mainly about this. Now I think it's also about. So this is about what you thought of AI assisted academic writing before you sit for this session, and how do you now feel it, right? One AI assisted writing action I will now do differently is, right? That is what you are supposed to write. Please complete the exit ticket in the chat. The first sentence asks you to record a shift in your thinking. This is about before tonight. I thought AI was like this, and now I think it is like this. The second response asks for one action you will do differently in your future writing. Actually, these responses to help me plan the next session. And next session is already planned, but I'll be getting some inputs for the future sessions from this. I want each session to be responded perfectly with your reflections and exit tickets, so that I fine tune, I adjust, and I renegotiate my next session accordingly. Right? So in the next session, what we'll be doing is actually building the research argument. Before we move into that, I want to see how. Actually, Marsha, you don't need to submit the worksheet. Worksheet is to guide you. What you have to submit is what I discussed earlier. What is it? This. Maybe it might not go beyond 2 pages of A4. You have an original paragraph, and then you tell what the AI task that you expected from AI, and you have to tell what the reason, and then you have to copy the prompt and the output given by the AI, and then you have to reveal your researcher check, which facts that you checked on, and then the final paragraph. And once you provided the final paragraph, then you have to give 100 to 150 words commentary on what? How and what you did and how you understood it, and your commentary on your original paragraph and the final paragraphs and their difference. And following that, you will set your personal AI boundary. Now, the personal AI boundary and most of these things actually are the things that we have practiced in the worksheet. Now you have to navigate the same exercise with an original paragraph of your own and submit that part as your submission. Thank you, Ushani, for your exit ticket, mainly about giving a confident output. That is what you AI assist before tonight. But now I think it is all about polishing the language and style, summarizing, okay? I want to hear from all or most of you the exit ticket. You can be frank. If I did make no change in your thinking about AI writing, it's all right, you may write. You made no contribution. You are talking of 3 hours, make no sense. Whatever your comment is valuable. Please send me your exit ticket. Thank you, Ayesha. Thank you, Sai Gusha. Thank you, Rashmini. Thank you, Tilanka. Thank you, Gisara. It's very detailed and precise. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Darsha. Thank you, Hirori. Thank you, Sandani. Well, all right. Thank you very much for those responses, and others, please continue to respond me. And these are the references of today's these actually can be downloaded even at any given moment. There are free sources available on internet. Thank you, Ashadi, for your submission. Thank you, Lakma and Kumara. Thank you. Well, with that, I can leave you with 1 minute to ask any question. All right. I'll extend the deadline for submission. Well, this is a general notice for everyone. Now, up to today's submission, all the deadlines will be extended by 1 week, so that those who have missed it can take time to submit all of them. But do not always expect me to extend the deadline. The things that we'll be doing tomorrow and onwards, we need you to follow the given deadline, right? All right, my dear friends, how do you all feel today? And can I hear from some of you whether I made any sensible content available for you tonight, or did I kill your time? Just give me a simple response, and with that we can actually move away from session and say hi to our bed. So what's your point? Don't worry that you're Ashadi, what's your question?
Did you mean that the worksheets? I mean, we don't have to submit the worksheets and the work that we did with the partners?
Well, if I have created any submission window, make sure that you submit. But your portfolio submission is actually the the one that I described towards the end.
Okay. Okay, so we don't submit the worksheets at all, right?
Yeah, for this session.
Okay, what about the previous sessions?
For the previous sessions, actually, if you are just submitting the worksheet alone,
Yeah.
what I may count is only the portfolio entry aspect only. Worksheet is for you to follow through the steps with me. All right, that you can submit it, but what I will be assessing will be your entry, or rather your what we call sort of trajectory in which your writing is developing in each session. So that your input part in it is my concern. Please submit that part.
Okay, thank you.
Kushan, thank you. Well, anything that you all have got to tell me? If not, we can actually